The government shutdown continues, and something the Democrats thought would never happen has actually happened. And that, of course, is that they are the ones taking the blame for all of this garbage, which, of course, is rightly placed by the American people. So let's go ahead and start this with Harry Enten giving the latest details on some polling about the government shutdown that, of course, is quite surprising.
One thing that might end a shutdown is political pain if parties start to feel that it's hurting them. So let's talk about that, starting with Republicans. How has the shutdown seemed to have affected their political standing?
Yeah, you might think, given that the Republicans are in charge of both the House and the Senate, that a government shutdown might actually hurt the Republican brand. But in fact, it hasn't. If anything, it's been helped a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were pre-shutdown, despite the fact that Republicans control. And that's the math that John Thune and Mike Johnson are looking at is, well, hey, why should we give, and electorally speaking, when our brand has actually improved a little bit?
Now, we say their position is getting better. With whom?
Yeah, okay, with whom? So I think it's two groups that it's so important to keep an eye on. All right, changing the Republican Congress's net approval rating versus pre-shutdown. It's rallying the base for sure. Look at this, the net approval rating up 12 points versus pre-shutdown. But it's not just with the base. It's also with the middle of the electorate. Look at this, among independents, it's up 8 points as well. So we've got a situation here where Republicans with the shutdown are actually rallying their base, but it's also something that's not hurting them with the folks in the middle. If anything, it's helping them with folks in the middle. And this is the type of math that if you're Republicans, you like to see, right? Because something could rally the base but alienate those in the middle, or something could rally those in the middle but alienate the base. But the truth is, we're not seeing that. What we're seeing is the Republican brand has actually gotten better among independents, and it's also gotten better among Republicans as well, that Republican brand when it comes to those in Congress. So again, what's the electoral reason that Republicans would give in at this point?
So, of course, the Democrats were betting 100% that the same thing would happen with this shutdown as has happened in other shutdowns. The Republicans would take the blame. But it hasn't played out like that. And why hasn't it? Oh, I don't know, because the messaging isn't there from the Democrats. No one's buying the simple fact that, oh, the Republicans control the House, the Senate, the White House, so therefore this shouldn't be happening. Yeah, but you have to have those 60 votes in the Senate. Don't forget, the House of Representatives has already passed a continuing resolution. It's the Senate that's holding it up. And don't forget, Republicans are still holding votes in the Senate, I think about twice every week, and say, hey, we're still voting to open this up. But who's voting no? It's the Democrats, okay? And we all, of course, know why. And it's wonderful to watch this happen because the base actually loves to see the Republicans stand up to the Democrats. And guess what? The independents are recognizing the Democrats are the ones holding the American people hostage, as it were, over the shutdown. But you know who else is fed up with all this stuff? Even the leftist mainstream media is calling out the Democrat senators for not doing their job.
I think my question is this. I mean, I take your point about these millions of people. The cost of living is incredibly high, but also Republicans control the White House, they control the Senate, they control the House. And in the past, Democrats, when Republicans have tried to do something like this, Democrats have argued that the norms of our government should be that you negotiate policy outside of a government shutdown. I mean, I have over many years covering Washington, people have said that over and over and over again. And now I have neighbors in the D.C. area who are both employed by the federal government who are having to use food banks. We are heading into Thanksgiving. Why is it suddenly right to do it this way and to do it for this long when it didn't used to be the right way in Democrats' view?
Oh, that's an easy answer. It's Donald Trump. You're talking about norms in the time of Donald Trump. It's also normal
right,
not
but
for you to tear
Democrats
down
have spent so much time
arguing
arguing about how maintaining those norms is actually incredibly important in the face of Donald Trump. It's all out the window.
It's all out the window, Kasie. No, when you're dealing in the time with Donald Trump, this is the man that is like extorting people. He's literally breaking every rules. We're not going to go back and play by the norms when we know that what's on the line is 24 million people are going to have their insurance rates premiums doubled. That's a new thing, by the way. And the fact is the president and everyone expects us to play by these old norms.
Didn't Democrats kind of set that up in the bill that you passed, though, that these subsidies were going to expire?
When we passed the bills and back in the day as part of the Inflation Reduction Act, of course, we were trying to maybe hope for the best that this country and our Republican colleagues would understand that raising insurance rates on people is a bad thing.
So here we have Kasie Hunt pointing out the obvious. In the past, the Democrats have said, oh, we don't want to negotiate about health care during a government shutdown. All right. So what happened to their principles? What happened to their high moral standards? Oh, according to Ruben Gallego, Donald Trump. Of course, Donald Trump got elected, and that throws all rules and regulations and standards out the window, which of course means you never really had them in the first place. Did you, Ruben? Okay. But of course, when pointed out that, yes, the Democrats actually passed these spending increases, right? These tax credits or whatever you happen to classify them as for the Affordable Care Act, all right? They had them expire purposefully at this point in time. So why not go ahead and make them permanent, Ruben? If they're so good for the American people, why not do it? Oh, could it be because it was too expensive? All right. That, of course, has been the big reveal. And as much as Ruben Gallego wants to come out and say, oh, we hoped our Republican colleagues would recognize that raising premiums for healthcare just isn't good for the American people. Why are they being raised? It's because Obamacare is a complete failure that has to have massive subsidies or tax increases to pay for it, which of course is what we were all warning about in the first place. Okay, but let's go ahead and see something similar happening with Jake Tapper as well.
Should the Democratic senators from New Mexico, your home state, vote to open the government so that these SNAP funds are not at risk?
Let me be clear. The administration is choosing to starve American children with money that they already have appropriated.
I'm not applauding their tactics.
By the White House.
Well,
this is a choice by the White House.
This is also, Congresswoman, this is also a choice by Senate Democrats to not vote to open the government. Yes, it is. I understand why they're doing it. They're doing it because they want Medicaid funds restored. They're doing it because they want Obamacare premiums to be extended past the end of the year. I understand the reasoning.
Sir, let me just be clear. The money for contingency plans is sitting there. That is why the states are suing. The White House is withholding funds from
2 to 3 weeks worth
of
SNAP funds.
Food.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it may not be a big deal to you, but let me tell you that for the grandparents, for grandparents that literally are feeding their children,
my point is that it's a short-term solution.
In those accounts,
it's a short-term.
At the end of the day, people need to be able to feed their families, and Saturday is when those funds run out.
If you feel so strongly, Congresswoman, why not ask the Senate Democrats from New Mexico to vote to open the government so that the SNAP funds...
Sir, I am here in the House of Representatives. It is shut down. I am fighting to get the government reopened. I am fighting to get funding put back into SNAP that is already existent, and I am fighting for the American people. I am here. But show me a single Republican that is here. Not a single one is here to make sure that Americans are fed on Saturday. That is why I am here.
So listen to the point that Melanie Stansbury is making. SNAP benefits are set to run out. So we have to keep the government shut down so we can not give them their SNAP benefits. All right. This is the worst thing ever. Everyone sees that, yes, it's the Democrats that are holding up this process. There's only a few weeks left that we're fighting over. At one point, this has become completely null and void, and we'll have to work on the next continuing resolution and, of course, the next budget if we ever actually happen to get one. So this is all, of course, completely ridiculous. And you even have Jake Tapper out there saying, yeah, shouldn't the senators just, vote to reopen it at this point? All right. When the leftist news media is turning on the Democrats, that's when they simply don't know what to do. They're not used to the scrutiny. They're not used to the hard questions. They're not used to facts actually being thrown back in their faces. And it is glorious to watch. And a lot of this, of course, is probably because even the media sees the writing on the wall here. I think it was John Kennedy who basically said, you know how this is going to end? You're going to have a whole bunch of Democrats who are going to be up for re-election in a lot of purple areas, and they're going to say, you know what, leadership Schumer, we got to go ahead and vote for it, right? We have to break party lines. And what's going to happen? This is going to end, and the Republicans will have a big win under their belts. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.